Captain Lee Ji-woo stood on the bridge of the Terra's Pride, watching the stars through the large window. His ship was humanity's first vessel to travel this far from Earth. After 3 months in space, they had seen nothing but empty darkness and distant suns. "Captain," called Choi Yuna from her station. The young woman's fingers moved quickly over her controls. "I'm getting something strange on the long-range scanners." Ji-woo walked over to her workstation. The screen showed a bright dot moving through space. "What is it?" "Unknown, sir, but it's giving off a lot of energy. More than anything we've seen before." Park Min-ho looked up from his engineering console. The tall man had been checking the ship's systems for the past hour. "Could be a ship," he said. "Or maybe some kind of natural phenomenon." "Only one way to find out," Ji-woo said. "Set course for that energy signature, but keep us at a safe distance." As they moved closer, Yuna's equipment started picking up something else. "Captain, I'm getting radio signals. Definitely artificial." Kim Nari, the ship's doctor, moved from her medical station to join them. "Artificial means intelligent life, right?" "That's what we're here to find out," Ji-woo replied. He had dreamed of this moment since joining the space program. First contact with alien life. "Yuna, can you clean up those signals?" Yuna worked at her controls for several minutes. Static filled the bridge speakers. Then suddenly a voice came through. It sounded desperate and afraid, speaking in a language none of them had ever heard. "It's definitely a distress call," Yuna said. "The tone, the repetition pattern. Someone's in trouble." Kang Taemin, the security chief, frowned. The muscular man always worried about dangers. "Could be a trap." "Could be," Ji-woo agreed. "But if someone really needs help..." The signal grew stronger as they approached. Through the static, they could hear fear in the alien voice. Then Yuna's translation program started working. Slowly, words began to appear on her screen. "Help us. Ships attacking. We are peaceful. Please help." The message repeated over and over. Ji-woo felt his stomach tighten. "Can you locate the source?" "Working on it," Yuna said. Her screens showed dozens of moving dots. "Captain, there are multiple ships out there. Some big, some small." Min-ho checked his sensors. "I'm reading weapon signatures, energy blasts. Someone's definitely fighting." "Put it on the main screen," Ji-woo ordered. The bridge's large display showed space ahead of them. At first, they saw nothing. Then flashes of light appeared in the distance. As they got closer, the crew could see ships. 3 large, dark vessels surrounded a smaller, brighter one. "The small ship is the one sending the distress call," Yuna reported. "The others, they're firing on it." Nari gasped. "They're attacking someone who can't fight back." Through the radio, the alien voice continued pleading for help. Now they could understand more words. The beings called themselves Kalari. They said they were scientists. They begged for someone to save them. "Captain," Taemin said quietly, "we don't know anything about these species. We don't know their weapons, their technology, their numbers." Ji-woo watched the battle on screen. The small ship was clearly losing. Its shields flickered with each hit from the larger vessels. "How many crew on the small ship?" "Scanning," Min-ho said. "Looks like 12 life forms. The big ships, over 100 each." "So we'd be outnumbered 300 to 5, Taemin calculated. 400 to 5, Yuna corrected. Another ship just appeared. On screen, a 4th large vessel dropped out of faster-than-light travel. It immediately began firing on the small ship. The victim's shields were failing fast. "They'll be dead in minutes," Nari said softly. Jiwoo closed his eyes for a moment. He thought about Earth, about the mission, about his responsibility to his crew. Then he thought about the fear in that alien voice. When he opened his eyes, his decision was made. Minho, how fast can we get there? The engineer looked surprised. At full speed, 3 minutes. Do we have any weapons? Jiwoo asked. Mining charges, Taemin replied. Some cutting lasers, nothing designed for ship combat. What about ramming speed? His crew stared at him. Nari spoke first. Captain, that would be suicide. Maybe, Jiwoo said. But doing nothing is definitely murder. Those people will die if we don't help. Yuna looked at her translation screen. The aliens were now saying goodbye to their families. They knew they were going to die. Sir, Taemin said slowly, even if we wanted to help, we don't stand a chance against 4 warships. Jiwoo smiled grimly. Maybe they don't stand a chance against us. His crew looked confused. Minho spoke for all of them. Captain, I don't understand. Those ships are used to fighting civilized opponents, Jiwoo explained. Species that follow. Rules. Fight fair. We're from Earth. We don't know their rules. He turned to face his crew. I won't order anyone to do this. It's volunteer only. Anyone who wants to stay safe can take the escape pods. None of them moved. So we're really doing this? Nari asked. We're really doing this, Jiwoo confirmed. Minho, I need those mining. Charges ready for launch. Taemin, prepare boarding equipment. Yuna, open a channel to those attacking ships. As his crew rushed to their tasks, Jiwoo sat in the captain's chair. He had never expected first contact to happen like this. But sometimes you don't get to choose your moments. Sometimes moments choose you. Channel open, Yuna reported. Jiwoo took a deep breath. This is Captain Lee Jiwoo of the Earth vessel Terra's Pride. You will stop your attack on the peaceful ship immediately and withdraw from this area. Static filled the bridge. Then a harsh alien voice responded in broken English. Unknown ship, you will not interfere. Leave now, or be destroyed. Jiwoo looked at his crew. They all nodded back at him. I'm afraid that's not going to happen, he told the aliens. Release that ship now, or face the consequences. The alien voice laughed. Small ship threatens us. You are foolish. Maybe, Jiwoo said. But you're about to find out how foolish humans can be. All stations, battle ready. Let's go save some lives. Commander Grexthor of the Vorthak fleet looked at his tactical display with amusement. The unknown ship was tiny compared to his destroyers. Its energy readings showed basic technology, nothing impressive. Shall we destroy them quickly, Commander? Asked his weapons officer. No, Grexthor replied. Let them watch us finish the Kalari first. Then we'll take their ship intact. I'm curious about this new species. On the Terra's Pride, Captain Jiwoo watched the enemy ships continue their attack. On the small vessel, the Kalari ship's shields were almost gone. They're ignoring us, Taemin observed. Good, Jiwoo said. Minho, are those mining charges ready? Ready, sir. But, Captain, they're not designed for space combat. They're meant to break apart asteroids. Perfect. Jiwoo smiled. Yuna, can you hack into their communication systems? The young woman looked uncertain. I can try, but alien technology. Just do your best. We need to confuse them. Jiwoo turned to his medical officer. Nari, I need you to pilot Shuttle 2. Sir? Nari looked shocked. I'm a doctor, not a pilot. I know, but I need Taemin for the boarding party, and Minho has to handle the charges. You're the only one left. What's the plan? She asked. You're going to draw their fire while we get in close. Nari stared at him. You want me to be target practice? I want you to be brave. Can you do that? The doctor looked scared, but she nodded. For those people? Yes. Jiwoo felt proud of his crew. None of them were soldiers, but they were all willing to fight for strangers. Minho, launch the first mining charge. Aim for the biggest ship. The charge shot out from their ship like a small missile. The Vorthak barely noticed it until it exploded against their hull. The blast was much bigger than they expected. What was that? Grexthor demanded. Some kind of explosive device, sir. It damaged our forward shields. The commander frowned. The weapon was primitive, but powerful. All ships, turn and face the small vessel. Destroy it now! On the human ship, alarms started ringing. 4 ships turning toward us, Yuna reported. They're charging weapons. Nari, launch now, Jiwoo ordered. Minho, fire everything we have. Dr. Kim Nari ran to the shuttle bay. Her hands shook as she started the small ship. She had only basic pilot training, but she would have to make it work. The shuttle launched just as the Vorthak opened fire. Energy beams filled space around the Terra's Pride. The ship shook as several blasts hit their shields. Shields down to 60%, Minho called out. Nari's shuttle zigzagged through space, drawing some of the enemy fire. One beam clipped her wing, and the shuttle spun wildly. Nari, report, Jiwoo called over the radio. Still alive, came her shaky voice. But this ship wasn't made for this. Meanwhile, Yuna worked frantically at her computer. I'm in their communication system, she announced. What should I do? Play loud music, earth music, confuse them. Suddenly, rock music from Earth started playing on all Vorthak frequencies. The alien crews were startled by the strange sounds. Minho launched another mining charge. This one hit a different ship and tore a hole in its side. Their armor isn't as strong as it looks, he reported. Taemin prepared his boarding equipment. Captain, this is insane. We don't even know if we can breathe their air. We'll find out, Jiwoo replied. He was steering the ship directly toward the enemy fleet. Get ready. The Terra's Pride flew between 2 Vorthak destroyers. The enemy ships were so big that the human vessel looked like an insect between giants. Now, Jiwoo shouted. Taemin launched himself from the airlock in a spacesuit. He carried cutting tools and some small explosives. His plan was simple: get inside an enemy ship and cause as much damage as possible. The Vorthak crew watched in amazement as a single figure in a primitive suit flew toward their ship. Is that one of them? An officer asked. Just one? What can one being do? Grexthor laughed. They stopped laughing when Taemin cut through their hull and entered their ship. Inside, he found corridors filled with tall reptilian aliens. They looked strong and dangerous, with sharp teeth and clawed hands. But Taemin had grown up in the worst parts of Earth. He had fought gangs, survived disasters, and learned to never give up. The aliens were bigger, but he was faster and more desperate. He set small explosives throughout the ship while fighting off the crew. The Vorthak had never seen anything like him. He moved like someone who wasn't afraid to die. Back in space, Nari's damaged shuttle suddenly accelerated toward the largest Vorthak ship. Nari, what are you doing? Jiwoo called. My engines are damaged, she replied. I can't control the direction, but I can control the speed. She aimed her shuttle at the enemy ship's weapon systems. The Vorthak tried to shoot her down, but the small shuttle was hard to hit. "Pull up!" Jiwoo ordered. "No time," Nari said calmly. "Tell my family I did something important." Her shuttle crashed into the destroyer's main gun. The explosion destroyed the weapon and damaged the ship's power systems. "Nari!" Jiwoo screamed over the radio. "I'm okay," came a weak voice. "Barely, but their biggest gun is gone." Meanwhile, Minho had figured out how to use their terraforming equipment as a weapon. The device was meant to change planet gravity, but it worked on spaceships too. He created a gravity well that pulled two Vorthak ships together. They crashed into each other with tremendous force. One ship was destroyed completely, the other was badly damaged. Inside the remaining destroyer, Taemin's explosives started going off. The ship shook as systems failed throughout the vessel. Commander. Grexthor couldn't believe what was happening. His fleet was being destroyed by 5 aliens in a tiny ship. "What kind of creatures are these?" he demanded. On his screen, he watched the human captain steering his damaged ship directly toward them. The small vessel was on fire. Its shields were gone, but it kept coming. "Sir," his weapons officer reported, "they're still attacking, even though they're almost destroyed." Grexthor had fought many species across the galaxy. He had seen brave warriors and clever tacticians, but he had never seen anyone fight like this. These humans acted like they didn't care if they died, as long as they completed their mission. "Retreat," he ordered quietly. "Sir, retreat," he shouted. "All ships, withdraw immediately." The remaining Vorthak vessels turned and jumped to faster than light. Speed. In moments they were gone. Space became quiet. The small Kalari ship floated safely, its crew alive. The Terra's Pride drifted nearby, heavily damaged but intact. "Is everyone alive?" Jiwoo asked over the radio. "Here," Minho replied. "Alive," Taemin confirmed from the damaged Vorthak ship. "Hurt but breathing," Nari added from her crashed shuttle. "Present and accounted for," Yuna said with relief. Jiwoo looked at the alien ship they had saved. "Yuna, open a channel to the Kalari." A soft, musical voice came through the speakers. "Human ship, this is Captain Velthara. How can we ever thank you?" "No thanks needed," Jiwoo replied. "Are your people hurt?" "Some injuries, but we will survive. You saved our lives. But I must ask, what manner of beings are you? I have never seen such fighting." Jiwoo thought about her question. What were humans? Warriors? Explorers? Survivors? "We're just people who don't like bullies," he said finally. Through the radio, he could hear the alien captain crying. "You risked everything for strangers." "That's what people do," Jiwoo said simply. "That's what people should do." The story spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within days, every space station, every trading post, every diplomatic channel was talking about the same thing. Humans had defeated a Vorthak battle group. Captain Jiwoo stood in the docking bay of Nexus Station, the largest trading hub in this part of space. Around him, dozens of different alien species stopped their work to stare. Some looked curious, others seemed afraid. "Captain," Yuna whispered, "they're all watching us." "I noticed," Jiwoo replied quietly. He tried to act normal, but it was hard. When every creature in sight was studying his every move, a tall, crystalline being approached them. Its body was made of what looked like living glass, and when it spoke, its voice sounded like wind chimes. "Captain Lee Jiwoo," the being said. "I am Administrator Crystal. Welcome to Nexus Station. Thank you, Jiwoo replied. We need repairs and supplies. Of course. But first, there are many who wish to meet you. Your actions have caused quite a stir. As they walked through the station, the crew saw aliens they had never imagined. Some looked like giant insects with multiple arms. Others were clouds of gas held together by energy fields. There were plant-like beings with bark for skin, and others that seemed to be made of pure light. So many different species, Nari said in wonder. Yes, Crystal agreed. Over 40 different races use this station, and all of them have heard about you. They were led to a large meeting room where several alien representatives waited. Jiwoo recognized one of them, Captain Velthara of the Kalari. The blue-skinned alien smiled when she saw him. My friends, she said, standing up, I have been telling everyone about your bravery. An insect-like creature clicked its mandibles. We are the Thrix, it said. We wish to know more about human military capabilities. We're not military, Jiwoo said. We're explorers. The insect looked confused. But you defeated the Vorthak. Only military forces can do that. A gaseous being spoke next, its voice coming from a translation device. I am Flux of the Etherians. We are concerned about adding violent species to the galactic community. We're not violent, Minho protested. We only fought to save innocent lives. But you did fight, another alien pointed out. This one looked like a walking tree. We Verdani have studied your battle records. Your tactics were unusual. Dr. Zephyros, a Kalari scientist who had been on the rescued ship, stepped forward. With permission, I have been studying the humans since the rescue. My findings are remarkable. He activated a holographic display that showed various alien anatomies. Most species in the galaxy evolved on peaceful worlds, safe environments. Humans are different. The display showed Earth rotating in space. Their home planet is what we classify as a Class 12 death world. The environment is extremely hostile to life. Gasps filled the room. Several aliens moved away from the humans. Death world? Crystal asked. That explains much. Zephyros continued his presentation. Human bones are 3 times denser than ours. Their muscles are designed for high gravity. They can survive in temperatures that would kill most of us. He showed more data. But the most interesting part is their psychology. Humans evolved to help each other survive impossible conditions. When they see others in danger, their first instinct is to help, even if it costs them their lives. That sounds dangerous, the Etherian representative said. Not dangerous, Velthara corrected. Heroic. They saved us without expecting anything in return. The tree-like Verdani spoke again. But if they come from such a harsh world, how do we know they won't become conquerors? Jiwoo stepped forward. Because we've already had the chance to conquer our own world, and we chose to explore space instead. He looked around the room at all the different species. We're not here to take anything from you. We're here to learn, to help, to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Taman added, Where we come from, the strong protect the weak. That's how we survived. Over the next few hours, the aliens asked hundreds of questions. They wanted to know about Earth, about human culture, about their intentions in space. Some aliens were impressed by human stories of cooperation and sacrifice. Others worried about their capacity for violence. The Thrix were excited about potential military alliances. The Etherians remained concerned about disrupting galactic peace. During a break in the discussions, Crystal approached Jiwoo privately. Captain, there is something you should know. The Galactic Council has been debating your species' application for membership. Application? Ji-Woo looked surprised. We didn't apply for anything. When any new species makes contact with the galactic community, they are automatically considered for membership. But your case is complicated. How so? Some council members believe Deathworlders are too dangerous. Others think you could be valuable allies. The debate has been going on for weeks. Kim Nari joined the conversation. What does that mean for us? It means you'll need to prove that humanity belongs in civilized space, Kristall explained. The council has agreed to hold a formal hearing. Back in the meeting room, Dr. Zephyros was showing more of his research. Human healing rates are extraordinary, he explained. Captain Kim here was injured in the shuttle crash, but she's already recovered from wounds that would take most species months to heal. Nari blushed at the attention. We heal fast because we get hurt a lot on Earth. Exactly, Zephyros said. Everything about humans shows adaptation to extreme survival conditions. But they used these abilities to save others, not harm them. An alien that looked like a floating jellyfish spoke up. The Kalari were lucky. But what happens when human interests conflict with others? Will they still be so helpful? It was a fair question, and Ji-Woo took time to think before answering. I can't speak for all humans, he said finally, but I can tell you what we believe. We believe that intelligent life is precious, that species should help each other, that the strong should protect the weak. Pretty words, the insect-like Thrix said. But words are easy. Then judge us by our actions, Taman replied. We came here as strangers and risked our lives for people we'd never met. What more proof do you need? The room fell silent. Then Velthara stood up again. I have a proposal, she said. Let the humans prove themselves to the Council. Let them show the galaxy what Deathworlders can really do. Murmurs filled the room as aliens discussed this idea among themselves. Finally, Kristall spoke. The Council has already scheduled your hearing. It will take place on Harmony Prime in 1 month. What should we expect? Yuna asked. Questions, challenges, perhaps tests, Kristall replied. Some species will support you, others will oppose you. You'll need to convince them that humanity belongs among the stars. As the meeting ended, aliens began approaching the humans individually. Some wanted to shake hands or perform other greeting rituals. Others kept their distance but nodded respectfully. The Thrix representative approached Taman. If you ever want to learn proper military tactics, contact us. The Verdani spoke to Minho. Your engineering skills interest us. We could teach each other much. Dr. Zephyros pulled Nari aside. Would you be willing to share more medical knowledge? Your healing techniques could help many species. As they walked back to their ship, Yuna looked overwhelmed. 1 month to convince an entire galaxy that we're worthy of membership. No pressure, Minho joked. Ji-Woo looked out at the vast space station around them, filled with so many different forms of life working together. We'll figure it out, he said. We always do. But privately, he wondered what they were getting themselves into. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but it was also full of dangers they couldn't even imagine. Yet, the council chamber on Harmony Prime was the most beautiful building Ji-Woo had ever seen. Made from crystal that seemed to sing in the light, it held representatives from dozens of worlds. The humans sat in a small section reserved for them, feeling very small among so many alien species. All rise for Council Speaker Archmaven, announced a mechanical voice. A being of pure light floated into the chamber. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. We gather today to decide the fate of the species called humanity. This hearing will determine if they may join our galactic community. Jiwoo looked around the chamber. Some aliens watched them with curiosity. Others seemed hostile. A few appeared afraid. The prosecution will present their case first. Archmaven, announced Ambassador Sekthar of the Vorthak, stood up. He was 8 feet tall with sharp claws and teeth. When he looked at the humans, his eyes showed pure hatred. Honored Council, Sekthar began, I stand before you to warn of a great danger. These creatures called humans are not fit for civilized society. He activated a holographic display showing Earth. They come from a death world, a planet so violent that it should not support intelligent life. Yet somehow, these beings survived by becoming predators themselves. The display showed scenes from human history, wars, violence, destruction. Look at their past. Constant warfare. Millions dead. They fight each other over resources, territory, beliefs. They even fight for entertainment. Murmurs of concern rippled. Through the chamber, several alien species looked at the humans with new suspicion. But most dangerous of all, Sekthar continued, is their unpredictability. When my fleet encountered them, they attacked without warning. They used weapons designed for mining as tools of war. They ignored all standard military protocols. He pointed directly at Jiwoo. This human captain ordered his crew to certain death, and they obeyed. What rational species does this? Only fanatics fight with such disregard for their own lives. The display showed the battle from the Vorthak perspective. To alien eyes, the human actions looked insane. A tiny ship attacking a fleet. Crew members, volunteering for suicide missions. A doctor deliberately crashing her shuttle into an enemy vessel. These beings cannot be trusted, Sekthar concluded. They are too violent, too unpredictable, too dangerous. If we allow them into our community, they will bring chaos and war. Several species voiced agreement. The insect-like Thrix seemed excited by human military potential, but others looked worried. The defense may now present their case. Archmaven, announced. Captain Jiwoo stood up slowly. He had never spoken to so many beings before, and he felt nervous. But he thought about Velthara's terrified voice on the radio, and his nervousness turned to determination. Honored Council, he began. Ambassador Sekthar is right about some things. We do come from a dangerous world. We have fought wars. We have made mistakes. He paused and looked around the chamber. But he's wrong about why we fought his fleet. We didn't attack without warning. We warned them to stop hurting innocent people. When they refused, we acted. Jiwoo activated his own display, showing the rescue from the human perspective. We fought because the Kalari were going to die, not for territory or resources or glory. We fought to save lives. But you still fought, interrupted a gaseous alien. Violence is violence. Sometimes violence is the only way to stop greater violence, Taman said, standing up beside his captain. On Earth, we have a saying, evil triumphs when good people do nothing. Kimnari rose next. I crashed my shuttle not because I wanted to die, but because I wanted others to live. That's what humans do. We sacrifice for each other. Park Minho joined them. Our weapons were mining tools because we're explorers, not conquerors. We came to space to learn, not to fight. Choi Yuna stood last. We may be different from you, but we share the same values. We believe intelligent life is precious. Captain, Velthara requested permission to speak. Honored Council, I was there. I heard my crew saying goodbye to their families because we thought we were going to die. Then these humans arrived. Her voice grew emotional. They could have stayed safe. They could have run away. Instead, they risked everything for strangers. How is that dangerous? Dr. Zephyros presented his research again. Yes, humans evolved on a death world, but this made them stronger, not crueler. They learned to work together because alone they would die. He showed brain scans of humans under stress. When humans see others in danger, their first instinct is to help. This is built into their biology. They cannot help but care about other beings. What about their wars? Asked the tree-like Verdani representative. Jiwoo answered honestly. We have fought wars. We've made terrible mistakes, but we learned from them. We built global cooperation. We chose to explore space together instead of fighting each other. And when you found us under attack? Velthara asked. We chose to help, Jiwoo said simply. For hours, the debate continued. Species after species asked questions, raised concerns, shared opinions. Some aliens remained convinced that humans were too dangerous. Others began to see them differently. The most powerful moment came when Taman was asked about human violence. Instead of making excuses, he did something unexpected. He removed his shirt. His body was covered in scars, burns, cuts, marks from surgeries. The aliens stared in shock. These aren't from battles, Taman said quietly. They're from rescues. This burn is from pulling a child out of a fire. This cut is from digging earthquake survivors out of rubble. This scar is from donating a kidney to save a friend's life. He looked around the chamber. Humans do get hurt a lot, but usually because we're trying to help someone else. The chamber fell completely silent. Even Ambassador Sekthar seemed stunned. We don't fight because we love violence, Taman continued. We fight because we love life, all life. Even alien life we've never met before. An elderly alien from a species called the Lumina spoke up. What guarantees do we have that humans will remain peaceful? The same guarantee you have from any species, Jiwoo replied. None. But you have our word and you have our actions. Judge us by what we do, not what you fear we might do. Dr. Zephyros added. In my research, I found something interesting. Humans are the only known species that regularly risks their lives for other species. No other race has this trait. What do you mean? Asked Archmaven. Most species will help their own kind. Some will help allied species. But humans help anyone who needs help, even if they've never seen that type of being before. Velthara nodded. It's true. They had no reason to save us. We weren't allies. We couldn't offer them anything in return. They helped us because it was right. The debate went on for hours more. Arguments were made on both sides. Some species called for humanity's immediate acceptance. Others demanded their rejection. Many remained undecided. Finally, Archmaven called for order. The Council will now deliberate. The human delegation will wait for our decision. As the aliens filed out to discuss humanity's fate, the crew sat alone in the chamber. They had done their best, but they didn't know if it was enough. Think we convinced them? Yuna asked. Some of them, Minho replied. Others seemed pretty set against us. We told the truth, Jiwoo said. That's all we could do. Nari looked around the empty chamber. Whatever happens, at least we tried. They waited in silence, knowing that the Next few hours would determine not just their own future, but the future of their entire species among the stars. The wait felt like forever. Captain Jiwoo and his crew sat in the empty chamber, listening to the sound of their own breathing. Through the crystal walls, they could see groups of aliens engaged in heated discussions. "Look at them," Yuna whispered, pointing to a group of insect-like thricks. "They're arguing about something." "Probably about us," Minho said. "The question is whether that's good or bad." After 3 hours, the aliens began returning to the chamber. Their expressions were hard to read, but Jiwoo noticed something encouraging. Captain Velthera gave him a small smile as she took her seat. Council Speaker Archmaven floated back to the center of the chamber. The being of pure light seemed dimmer than before, as if the debate had been exhausting even for an energy creature. "The Council has reached its decision," Archmaven announced. "This was not an easy choice. The vote was closer than we have seen in many years." Jiwoo felt his heart racing. Beside him, Nari reached over and squeezed his hand. After much debate, the Galactic Council has decided to grant humanity provisional membership in the Galactic Federation. Cheers erupted from some sections of the chamber, while others remained silent. Jiwoo felt relief wash over him, but Archmaven wasn't finished. However, this membership comes with conditions. Humanity will undergo a probationary period of 1 galactic standard year. During this time, you will be monitored and evaluated. "What does that mean exactly?" Jiwoo asked. "It means you'll have the chance to prove yourselves," replied Crystal, who had arrived from Nexus Station for the hearing. "You'll have access to galactic trade, technology, and communication networks. But if you cause problems—" "We understand," Jiwoo said quickly. "We won't let you down." Archmaven's light grew brighter. "There is more. The Council has also voted to offer humanity a unique position." The chamber grew quiet with anticipation. "We offer you the role of galactic peacekeepers," Archmaven announced. "Your species has shown unusual willingness to risk your lives for others. We believe this makes you suitable for protecting weaker species from those who would harm them." Gasps filled the chamber. This was unprecedented. No new species had ever been offered such an important role. Ambassador Sekthar stood up angrily. "This is madness! You're giving weapons to barbarians!" "We're giving responsibility to those who have already proven they can handle it," countered Dr. Zephyros. "The humans saved my crew when no one else would." Jiwoo stood up slowly. "Honored Council, we're grateful for this offer, but we need to understand what it means." "It means," explained an elderly Lumina representative, "that when peaceful species are threatened by aggressive ones, they can call on human peacekeepers for protection." "Like galactic police?" Taman asked. "More like galactic guardians," Archmaven clarified. "You would work with other species, but humans would lead peacekeeping operations." Jiwoo looked at his crew. They all nodded back at him. "We accept," he said, "both the membership and the peacekeeping role." The chamber erupted in mixed reactions. Some aliens cheered, others protested. Many seemed uncertain about what they had just witnessed. 6 months later, Captain Jiwoo stood on the bridge of the New Horizon, a ship 3 times larger than the Terra's Pride. Around him worked not just his original crew, but beings from a dozen different species. "Captain," called Ensign Keela, a young Kalari who had joined their communications team. "We're receiving a distress signal from the Altair system." "What's the situation?" Jiwoo asked. "Pirate attack on a mining colony," reported Lieutenant Vex. "A crystalline Zenthari at the weapons station." Civilian casualties reported. Jiwoo smiled grimly. How long to get there? 2 hours at maximum speed, answered Commander Park Minho from his engineering station. His team now included aliens who brought knowledge from across the galaxy. Signal the fleet, Jiwoo ordered. All ships, prepare for rescue operations. Dr. Kim Nari looked up from her medical station, where she worked alongside doctors from 4 different species. Medical team standing by, Captain. Chief Petty Officer Choi Yuna had become the head of the new Interspecies Communication Division. Captain, I'm picking up transmissions from the pirates. They're demanding the colonists surrender all their resources. Security Chief Kang Taemin commanded a diverse team of peacekeepers from across the galaxy. Boarding teams ready, sir. People are excited to see human tactics in action. As the peacekeeping fleet moved toward the crisis, aliens throughout the ship watched their human colleagues with fascination. They had heard stories about Deathworlders, but seeing humans prepare for another impossible rescue was different. Captain, asked Ensign Thaimon, a gaseous Etherian, are you not afraid? The pirates have superior numbers and weapons. Jiwoo thought about the question. Fear is normal, he said, but we don't let fear stop us from doing what's right. But the odds. Thaimon continued. The odds don't matter when innocent people need help, Taemin explained. That's the first thing you learn about working with humans. Dr. Nari added, we've learned that most impossible things are just difficult things that nobody wanted to try. As they approached the Altair system, they could see the pirate ships surrounding the small mining colony. The pirates were from a species called the Raxians, known for their brutality and greed. Open a channel, Jiwoo ordered. The lead pirate ship responded with a snarling face that looked like a cross between a wolf and a lizard. Who dares interfere with Raxian business? This is Captain Lee Jiwoo of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, Jiwoo replied calmly. Release the colonists and surrender or face the consequences. The pirate leader laughed harshly. Peacekeepers, we have heard of you humans. You got lucky once against the Vorthak. It won't happen again. Maybe, Jiwoo said. But you're about to find out why the galaxy calls us Deathworlders. The battle that followed became another legend. Human tactics, combined with alien technology and diverse species working together, proved unstoppable. The pirates were defeated without a single civilian casualty. As they helped evacuate the wounded colonists, Captain Velthara approached Jiwoo. She now served as the fleet's xenobiologist and had become one of humanity's strongest supporters. Another successful rescue, she observed. Thanks to everyone working together, Jiwoo replied, watching his mixed-species crew help the survivors. The galaxy has changed since humans arrived, Velthara said thoughtfully. Species that never talked to each other before are now working side by side. Why do you think that is? Velthara watched a human medic working alongside an insectoid Thrix to save a wounded colonist. Because you showed us something we had forgotten. What's that? That sometimes the most important thing isn't being smart or strong or advanced, she said. Sometimes the most important thing is simply caring enough to help. Later that day, as the peacekeeping fleet prepared to return to base, they received another distress call. Then another. Word was spreading across the galaxy. When peaceful beings were in trouble, the human peacekeepers would come. Jiwoo looked out at the stars and thought about how much had changed. A year ago, humans had been alone in the universe. Now they were part of something bigger, something important. Captain, Yuna called from her station. We're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's Admiral Chen, head of the space program. The image of an elderly woman appeared on the main screen. Captain Jiwoo, I wanted to congratulate you and your crew. The entire planet is proud of what you've accomplished. Thank you, Admiral, Jiwoo replied. But we're just getting started. I know, Admiral Chen smiled. That's why I'm calling. Earth has decided to send more ships, more crews. Humanity is officially expanding its presence in the galaxy. After the transmission ended, Taman approached his captain. Are you ready for more ships, more crews, more impossible rescues? Jiwoo looked around his bridge at the humans and aliens working together. He thought about all the species in the galaxy who might need help someday. He thought about the responsibility that came with being a Deathworlder in a universe full of peaceful beings. I'm ready, he said. We all are. Outside the ship, Earth appeared on the horizon as they headed home. The blue planet looked small and fragile against the vast darkness of space. But Jiwoo knew that appearances could be deceiving. That small, dangerous world had produced something the galaxy had never seen before. A species willing to fight not for conquest or glory, but for the simple belief that all intelligent life was worth protecting. The age of human peacekeepers had begun, and across the galaxy, those who preyed on the weak were learning to fear a new sound, the approach of ships crewed by Deathworlders who had chosen to become guardians instead of conquerors. The stars no longer seemed so cold and empty, they were full of hope.